Hello everybody, my name is Chris Anthony. I'm in a really unique location. Bruce Campbell spent time not too far away from here, probably in very much the same conditions. Not too far behind me is Camp Hale. Over that way is Machine Gun Ridge. That's where the 10th Mountain Division trained, and Bruce was here.
I arrived at Camp Hale. I wondered why at the time, because I was the only guy who got off the train. I was 18 years of age, and we got off at this little train station called Pando, and wondered what in the world I'd done here with these snow-capped mountains, muddy streets. A couple of guys came down and picked me up. It was such a great group of guys. I mean, I understood that the average age at Camp Hale was like 21. And I still maintain it was like a giant fraternity.
He played a valuable asset in the creation of my film. And his recall was so unbelievable that I often reached out to him and I would ask him questions. And in fact, had him do a couple voiceovers for the film.
On June 3rd, 1945, nearly a month after Hitler's conquest of Europe ended in defeat during World War II, a ski race was organized near the former border of Yugoslavia. The race was held on one of the highest peaks in the Julian Alps, the mountain's name, Mangart. The race was organized by ski troopers in a unique division of the U.S. Army, my division.
His memory was so unbelievable, I actually reached out to him at one point when I got stuck and I needed to get from one scene to another. And I asked Bruce, I go, Bruce, can you recall what took place May 2nd, 1945, when General Hayes was standing in the back of the truck and just told you Germany had just surrendered Italy to the 10th Mountain Division?
When you soldiers go home, no one will believe you when you start telling of the spectacular things you have done. There have been more heroic deeds and experiences crammed into these days than I have heard of. I have been privileged to participate in many actions that were considered important and fierce battles. And I can assure you that one of the most bitter were the ones that we fought right here.
You would have thought that upon hearing that the war had ended for us, that we would be cheering and firing weapons and hollering whatever. But it was a far more somber reaction to that because we were tired and the war was over for us. It was a short period of combat, but very intense. And we couldn't help but think about the number of wounded soldiers and, of course, those killed in action. And what do we have to look forward to? That's something none of us knew at the time. But we knew that the war in Europe, France, Germany would soon be over. But the conflict in Japan was still ongoing at a fierce pace.
For a moment, silence washed over the men. They could lay down their weapons and take in a few deep breaths. I survived, some would think, while at the same time, horrible loss blanketed them in darkness. A lifetime had gone by in just a few short years. For so many, they left home as teenagers, arrived in Camp Hale as skiers, mountaineers, cowboys, and athletes, eventually graduating as soldiers bonded by a common goal and with no real idea of what laid ahead of them. And now here they stood in victory and in darkness. It was almost over.
It was remarkable what Bruce could recall in his memory.
Europe began unraveling in September 1939, when Adolf Hitler, the leader of Nazi Germany, gave the directive to invade the neighboring country of Poland. Immediately after this invasion, the Prime Minister of Britain, Neville Chamberlain, declared war on Germany. Meanwhile, to the north, another conflict was underway, the Winter War. This offensive began when the Russian dictator Joseph Stalin sent his massive army into the small country of Finland. The Finns, outmanned and outgunned, defeated the powerful Soviet army by outmaneuvering them on skis. Amongst them was World War I vet Charles Minot Dole. Minnie, as his friends referred to him, was the founder of the National Ski Patrol system. Dole pointed out that should America be pulled into a winter war, we lack the specialized mountain troops to take on such a battle. But we do not lack the skiers to form such a special unit. Dole took this bit of knowledge to the Chief of Staff of the War Department, General George Marshall, and suggested it was time to make soldiers out of skiers. General George Marshall and President Franklin D. Roosevelt gave Dole the green light. Dole received a letter from the War Department. Approval had been given, along with a blank check, to go ahead and develop a new experimental unit of the United States Army. At the core would be skiers. This experimental light infantry unit endured many months of intensive and grueling training in the Colorado Rockies to become the only division in the U.S. Army designed for mountain warfare.
I felt very bonded to him. Thankfully, I was able to bring him out to Colorado for the world premiere of the movie. That was one of the most powerful moments of that presentation for sure. He received a standing ovation of 1,800 people. A few weeks ago, while I was in Kitzbühel, Austria, I woke up in the morning and there was a voicemail from Bruce. And I often had voicemails from Bruce. This one was very special because he basically said thank you, that he enjoyed our time together, and he told me he was going to see me on the slopes. And then he said goodbye.
Hi, Chris. This is Bruce. I've enjoyed our relationship, and all I'm going to say is great success to you. We'll see you on the slopes. Okay, Chris? Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
So Bruce is out here now, and I'm going to go take a run for him. Thank you, Bruce, for everything that you did for us, and we know that you're still around.
It started out like all the others, but over time, you gave it meaning, a purpose, a reason to exist. By your side, it suffered late nights and early mornings. Gave you protection on the days you weren't sure you'd make it home at all. Every drop of sweat makes it part of your story. When you're gone, your children will pull it from the attic, hold it to their faces, recall your scent. They'll remember what you did for them, how you loved them, how every day you went to work, contributed, helped build a world to which they could contribute too. And you did it all in your uniform.